Hello guys, today I'm here with a new deck profile of a very weird deck I came up with and this is a going second Gishki-Dogmatika build. I've been dabbling into the synergy between Gishkis and Dogmatikas from the time I got back into Yu-Gi-Oh! During this summer, I believe, and I don't know, suddenly I felt the urge because of the new Dogmatika cards, especially Dogmatika Matrix, to get back into the going second route. So, sorry for that sound. Let's get into the deck profile. Now, for the Gishkis, first of all, we are running one Gishki-Dogmatika Manas and one Zil-Gigas. These two cards enable our OTKs, and we obviously also include into the deck the Gustav Max OTK as usual. Then for the basic monsters, I guess, we run double Gishki Abyss, double Grimness, and double Vision, as well as triple Shadow. I think I've explained these cards so much in my channel, so maybe if you have some questions you can check another video. But if you want a brief explanation, this card searches your ritual spells, Gishki ritual spells of course, this one your ritual monsters, this card adds any of these, and Zil-Gigas, keep that in mind as well, because he has 0 defense, and I'm stating that because Abyss says that you can add a Gishki monster with 1000 or less defense. And we also have the two Grimness, which special summon an Abyss from the deck, and we get another search. Also, Grimness, Vision, and Shadow act as the full tribute for the ritual summon of exactly one water ritual, which is great. Now, for the spice, we run one White Knight of Dogmatika and one White Relic of Dogmatika. White Knight is not really that important, to be honest, in the deck. I would also probably remove it, but I have him here because there have been instances in which I had to go first, and White Knight of Dogmatika is a great card as an interruption. This card says that if your opponent activates a card or effect, except during the damage step, you can send one monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, and if you do, you look at your opponent's extra deck and send one monster from it to the grave. So what happens is, first of all, this is an effect kind of like Fenrir, so after the resolution of an effect, you get to do this, and White Knight can technically discard an NTSS, which will pop a card your opponent controls, and interrupt that way. Or you could send Myriologic Aggregator, which negates any face-up card on the field, spell, trap, whatever. So that's actually pretty decent. And well, of course, it can also get you resources, sending Herald of the Arclight and whatever else. Also, it gains attack equal to half the attack of the monster you sent to the grave, and the half the attack of the monster you sent from your opponent's extra deck to the grave. Also, you get to pick at your opponent's extra deck, which is also great. And I've won some games because of this effect, to be honest. And now White Relic is kind of the MVP of the deck as well. This card states that when it is ritual summoned, you can target 2 monsters on the field, and one of the 2 you choose to gain the attack of the other. So for example, if your opponent has a monster with 3k attack, you can target it, and this card becomes 3500 attack beat stick. And you also very oftenly happen to have these 2 boys on here, which means you can target with relic Zilgigas and get this to be a 3700 beater, or you could even target these two and give one of them the attack of the other. So one of these would be 6200 attack, which is insane. And also, if your opponent summons a monster from the extra deck, she can look at your opponent's extra deck, if I'm correct, yeah, and you can send one monster from it to the grave, which is also kind of a nice way to interrupt some combo decks. Now, for the main Dogmatikas, we are running triple Dogmatika Ecclesia. This card is insane. Obviously, you can normal or special summon her and grab a Dogmatika card from your deck to your hand. If this card... what I want to say was that if you have, or your opponent has, an extra deck monster on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand, which is extremely easy to do with this deck, of course. And the thing is that after activating some of the Dogmatika cards, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn. But that is no problem for our deck. This card gets you any Dogmatika card, as I mentioned, and it can actually enable OTKs by itself. We will get into that later. Then we have my favorite card of the deck, double Dogmatika Maximus. This card is insane because you can special summon this card by banishing a monster that is in from the extra deck from your graveyard. Well, I didn't say that really greatly. Well, if there is a monster from the extra deck in the grave, you can banish that monster and special summon Maximus. This is an activated effect, though, keep that in mind. So it activates in the hand. Then Maximus says the following. You can send two monsters with different names from your extra deck to the graveyard, and then your opponent has to do the same thing. So, for example, if you have these in the grave, you can use Maximus effect to send a Herald of the Arclight as well as a Totally Awesome to the grave. Now, that means that you get a search for a ritual spell or monster with Herald of the Arclight, and you also get to add from your grave to your hand one of your Gishki monsters. So you technically could get a Vision as well as the Necro Mirror and instantly have a Zilgigas lay alongside the shuffling effect of Zilgigas, which we don't use that often in regular Gishkis. And yeah, we have two Maximus for that. This is insane. You can even send NTSS to pop cards. Sorry for that. You could send Garura. I don't have Garura, by the way, here. But not here. I don't have it at all. But yeah, you can send Meteorologic Aggregator. Sorry for that. To negate a card on the field. You could send Omega to recycle cards. You can do a whole lot. And then we also have Fleur de Lis. Oh, here he goes. Yeah, and we have one Fleur de Lis. This card is kind of like an interruption. And the thing is that if you control a Dogmatika monster, and actually, let me rephrase that again. If there is an extra deck monster on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand, like boom. And the thing is that if you control a Dogmatika monster, you can after this card is special summoned, you can target one monster on the field and negate its effects, which is great. And you can also enable OTKs with this card as well. This card states that when a Dogmatika monster declares an attack, you can not target, every Dogmatika monster on the field gains 500 attack. And I actually won a game in which I had this, and this, and my opponent had Trap Tricks, what was it? Sarah as well as Rafflesia, and Rafflesia doesn't let extra deck monsters, not extra deck, Trap Tricks monsters, sorry, be destroyed by battle. So this card gained 2500, so she was 3k, and 3500, sorry, and no, 3k, right. Sorry about that. And when you attack with Fleur de Lis, every single one of these gets 500 attack, sorry. So my opponent had already lost some life points, and I went with these on Sarah, and it was 2k, 3k, 3500. So yeah, it was a lot of damage, and if you had Maximus as well, you could do more. Then we have 3 Ash Blossom. Since we are going second, I kind of wanted a hand trap in my hand. Possibly, if you do draw it, maybe you could go heavier on the hand traps, but I don't really like that, actually, because we have board breakers in this deck. Also keep in mind that Ash Blossom can be a combo starter, which we'll get into later. Then we have the spells. For the spells, my favorite card in the deck, probably Nadir Servant. This card is absolutely insane. You have to send one monster from your extra deck to the grave to add a Dogmatika monster with less attack from your deck to your hand. Which means that if you have, for example, Shadow in the grave, you can just send a Toad, grab a Maximus, and then you can add with Toad your Shadow back. You can special summon the Maximus, banishing this. Then you can send Shadow to grab a ritual spell, then use Maximus, send Toad and something else. And that's not only it. You can do so many combos with this card. You could even get your Ecclesia, and Ecclesia can be special summoned. If your opponent, since we are going second, your opponent most probably will have an extra deck monster on the field. And Ecclesia right now, at this point in time, is so incredibly powerful because it can grab you Dogmatika Matrix. And Dogmatika Matrix is actually an insane card. This is a friend's copy, so sorry about that. This card states that when it is activated, you can grab from your deck to your hand either a Dogmatika Ritual spell or a Dogmatika Ritual monster. But if your opponent controls a monster, you get to add any Dogmatika card from your deck to your hand as well. Unfortunately, Nadir Servant is not a Dogmatika card, but you can grab either Maximus or Fleur de Lis, or maybe the other ritual piece that you need from the Dogmatika. Yeah, from the Dogmatikas, sorry. And well, this is great. Actually, this doesn't look French. Well, anyway, so yeah, this is actually insane because it is a +1. So you summon Ecclesia, you get this, and then you add 2 cards instead of 1 that Ecclesia would bring. But it doesn't stop there. This card has one more effect, which is absolutely insane. It says that if you control a Dogmatika ritual, let's say Relic, you can look at either your or your opponent's extra deck and send one monster from there to the grave. So if you have a Relic, you can send, or White Knight of course, you can send NTSS to the grave to pop something. You can send Garura to draw one. You can send Omega to recycle one. You can send Toad to grab a Gishki from the grave. You can do so much stuff. It's absolutely insane. So onward we go with the ritual spell, Dogmatic Calamity. I've been kind of thinking about maybe adding a second one, because if I do use it, maybe sometimes I feel like I need another one. But yeah, this is kind of like Necros Kaleidoscope, or Kaleidoscope of Necros, whatever its name is. And Well, this is great because Dogmatic Calamity with Relic is a bit more powerful. We have some plays with White Knight as well, but so if you activate Dogmatic Calamity, you can ritual summon a monster from the extra deck by sending what did I say? You can ritual summon a ritual monster from your hand by sending a monster from the extra deck that whose levels equal the levels of your Dogmatica ritual. So that means for White Relic we can either send NTSS or Herald of the Arclight, which means we can either get another search, which could actually lead to our Gishki plays, because we can grab Aqua Mirror, Necro Mirror, or any of our rituals, and we can also send NTSS to Board Break. So this card is incredibly versatile. And with White Knight, what we do is mainly for the going first route, of course, if we happen to go first. Some players also play blind second, so it can happen. We are going to send most probably either Omega or Titaniclad, and Titaniclad is another search. We are going to get into it later. So now for the Gishki spells, we are running double Gishki Aqua Mirror. I have this here in case maybe they get banished or something. I mean, I don't run only one, I run two because of that, with Castira and whatever. And I also run the one Necro Mirror. This card enables our OTKs. It's absolutely insane. It board breaks in conjunction with Zilgigas. It's absolutely great. And we also run the 3 focused Aqua Mirror, which is kind of obvious. We are going to grab our Gishkis with that. And lastly, for the last 6 cards I'm running, I'm playing triple Ultimate Slayer and triple Lightning Storm. These cards also enable our plays, our OTKs, yeah, and Ultimate Slayer is absolutely insane because if your opponent has a synchro, you can send Herald of the Arclight to add the card as well as board break. If your opponent has a fusion, you can send NTSS to pop 2 cards, shuffle one and pop another one. You can send so many cards. You can send Meteorologic Aggregator if your opponent has XYZs. So yeah, the only problem with this card is that it doesn't work under Castira Arise Heart, which is very sad, and I hope we don't see Castira for so long, because the deck also struggles a lot with Arise Heart, but actually you can get past him, but we'll see how later maybe. So let's get into the extra deck. So now for the extra deck, I'm going to start with the only cards we are ever going to actually make in this deck. So the first 2 very important pieces are Almiraj and Secure Gardna. We have these guys here because, let me show you. If you actually draw Ecclesia, let's say Ecclesia, and maybe Gishki Abyss, what you can do is you can normal summon Abyss, add a Gishki from your deck to your hand, let's say Shadow, and then you can link Abyss off into Almiraj. Then you can link Almiraj off into Secure Gardna. Now you control a monster from the extra deck and you can special summon your Ecclesia. Then Ecclesia can grab you Dogmatica Matrix. If you're going second, of course, and your opponent controls a monster. And now Matrix can actually add you both your ritual spell, your Dogmatica ritual spell, as well as another Dogmatica card, which is going to be Maximus. And now, because of the play we did, we have a monster from the extra deck in the grave, so we can banish this to special summon our Maximus. And Maximus effect, we can send actually before Maximus effect we can send Shadow to the grave to grab a ritual spell, and then use Maximus to send both Herald of the Arclight and Toad to grab this and get a search and so on. And you can easily OTK with this setup. So these cards, as you understood, help us set up our field and grave for the Dogmatika cards. And this combo actually can happen with either Ash Blossom, because you can normal summon her, special summon Almira, special summon, and if you have Ecclesia, you can do the same thing. Obviously, you won't get value out of Toad because of that, but you can definitely OTK. Then we also run the one Coral Anemone, because if we do open up with only Gishkis, which is very rare, but if it happens, I would like to have the ability to revive Abyss to get more searches and OTK a bit easier. So yeah, that's it for that. And for our OTK plays, if we don't use some of the Dogmatika cards that lock us outside of our extra deck, yeah, we can make Gustav Max to obviously attack with Neri Manas, attack with Zilgigas, overlay into this, and do 8k damage. So these are the only cards we are ever going to make from the extra deck. Afterwards, for our last link, we are running one Fairy Jit. This would be Garura for me, but I don't have Garura right now. Maybe this week I'll get one. But I also kind of like this because this is the only kind of relevant target I have right now for Ultimate Slayer targeting a link. But yeah, now for our fusions, we have two Elder Entity NTSS, I think. Yeah, and this card is insane, as I showed you before, because you can pop cards left and right. Then for our last fusion, we ran one gorgeous Titanic Lad. This card we are most oftenly going to send off of Dogmatic Calamity for White Knight, or maybe with Maximus to the grave. And this card states that during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard, you can either add a Dogmatika monster or special summon a Dogmatika monster from your deck. So if you have Titanic Lad in the grave, you can either special summon Ecclesia if you didn't use her effect this turn to get you a search, which could be anything, or you could maybe add whatever combo piece you want, of course, or you could get a Fleur de Lis either by simply adding it to the hand, or by special summoning Ecclesia and adding Fleur de Lis to the hand to have an interruption, in case we go first, most probably. Although Fleur de Lis is great in any case, but yeah. For our XYZs, we have two Toads and Myriologic. Keep in mind that Myriologic actually negates the effects of a face-up card, not just monsters. So for example, if you Nadir Servant, you could send Aggregator to the grave and add something, and Aggregator can target a skill drain and negates its effect for this turn, or something like that, or a Floodgate in general. And Toad is absolutely insane because it actually it's kind of like we have in-engine salvages because of that. But yeah, and we of course have the three Herald of the Arclights, which are absolutely insane and get searches for us, constantly. And we also have one Psyframe Lord Omega for recycling purposes. I also, other than Garura, I'm considering adding Deep-Sea Prima Donna into the deck because of her last effect, which states that if this card is sent to the grave, you can target one banished card, shuffle it into the deck. I like this because if you're playing against a Castillo deck or something, this card can also recycle your face down banished cards, which is great. So that's it for the deck. I'll show you two small combos and get get done with it. So let's see. So we're going to go through some combos with, well, you can do certain OTKs with either Ecclesia and Vision, or Ecclesia and Abyss, or Ecclesia and Grimness. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with Shadow, because Almiraj requires a 1000 attack or lower normal summoned monster to be summoned. And you can even do it with Ash Blossom. So with Grimness and Abyss, we are obviously going to plus a lot more. So I'm going to actually showcase the Vision route, which is going to be a bit more difficult. So what we can do here is the following. I'm going to use Ice Master as a field center because I got it last week and I really like it. It's actually great. If it would trigger Atlanteans, maybe I would try it in something, but it doesn't. So first of all, we are going to do the weirdest thing ever. We are going to normal summon our Vision. Then we're going to link it off to go into our Almiraj. Then Almiraj is going to be linked off to summon Secure Gardener. Then we are going to special summon. Obviously, by the way, we are going second right now, so we are going to actually attempt this as if we are going second. And our opponent has another monster on the field. So we are going to special summon Ecclesia, and Ecclesia is going to search for us our Dogmatika Matrix, which I'm going to find here. Then we are going to activate Matrix, and Matrix is going to add us the Dogmatika Ritual spell, if I do find it. Sorry about that. The Dogmatika Ritual spell, as well as a Maximus. Now we are going to banish our Almiraj to special summon our Maximus. Then we are going to use Maximus's effect to send a Herald of the Arclight to the grave, as well as a Toad to the grave, to use Herald's effect and then Toad's effect, because Herald is more ashable, I suppose. Yeah, so we're going to get our Vision back from the grave, and we are also going to search for a what is it called? The White Relic of Dogmatika. Then we are going to use our Dogmatic Calamity. Keep in mind we have Vision in our hand as well, to special summon our White Relic by sending to the grave a Herald of the Arclight. So here we're going to go Chainlink 1 Herald of the Arclight, Chainlink 2 White Relic, and with White Relic we are going to target Maximus and Ecclesia, and I'm going to make Maximus 3k attack. Obviously you can actually put this in defense. Yeah. And then we're going to add a Gishki-Necromirror to our hand. We are also going to discard our Vision to grab our Zeal Gigas here. So, now considering our opponent does control a monster, as we said, because we are using Matrix, with that, yeah, we are going to use Necromirror to tribute our opponent's monster to special summon our Zeal Gigas. Then Necromirror is going to go back to the bottom of the deck to stack our Vision to the top of our deck. And then we're going to pay 1000 life points to draw one card. If it is a Gishki, we get to shuffle without targeting one card our opponent controls to the deck. So we removed 2 possible cards from our opponent's field this way already. And since we got vision, we are going to discard our vision to get back our to get our Neri manas. And then, since we do control a Dogmatika ritual, we can send a monster from our exodeck to the grave to do nothing, to just do that. Yeah, and then Arclight is going to grab us our Aqua Mirror. So then we're going to tribute the Zilgigas to special summon our Neri Manas, and Neri Manas is going to revive our Zilgigas. So we cleared at least 2 monsters from our opponent's field, maybe a spell or trap too, and we have on the field this is 3k, so 6k, 9.2 plus 25. It's obviously overkill if they don't have another monster, but even if they do, you can just attack with Zilgigas or something else, and yeah. And that's without actually with using vision as your normal summon, keep in mind. So yeah, it's pretty great. Obviously, if you had Abyss, you would get 1 more search, because you would grab your vision or your shadow to your hand and then discard it to get it to the grave and add it back with Toad and whatsoever. So yeah, let's show you the Ash combo as well, and I'll be done with it. So let's get into it. We are going to normal summon our Ash Blossom. Obviously this isn't our optimal draw, as you can imagine, but it could actually end up being a better route if you get ashed on focused Aqua Mirror, or maybe your vision or shadow you discarded got ashed, and maybe your only card in hand is your only cards in hand are these 2. Or even if you just have board breakers on your hand and these 2. So you can do the following: normal summon Ash Blossom, link it off to summon Almiraj. Almiraj is going to be linked off to summon Secure Gardna. So then we're going to special summon our Ecclesia. Ecclesia is going to get our Matrix, obviously considering we have our opponent has a monster on their field. If they don't, it doesn't really compute. Maybe you should get Maximus, of course. So we are then going to activate Matrix to get Calamity as well as our Maximus. And so here we are going to special summon Maximus by banishing our Almiraj. Special summon Maximus then, and Maximus's effect is going to send to our grave our Herald of the Arclight, as well as whatever else you want. Maybe it could be an NTSS to pop something, maybe it could be a Titanic Lad for follow-up, I guess. Let's just pretend we are sending NTSS to pop something. And here, since we sent Herald and NTSS, we're going to use Herald's effect, then NTSS's effect, and then we pop something, and we get to search our White Relic, since we already have the Dogmatic Calamity. Here we are going to activate Dogmatic Calamity to send to the grave a Herald and special summon our White Relic. Now we are going to, depending on your opponent's field, if they have a monster you want to pass through, I guess, you can target these two to make one of them go to 3k. But if you just want, I don't know, maybe you should just do that. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, you can, I would just want the 500 extra damage to maybe target this and go into a 2000 beat stick, I guess. So since we sent a Herald, sorry about that, we are going to grab to our hand a Zilgigas. And then since we control a Dogmatika ritual, we are going to send to the grave a Herald of the Arclight. because of Matrix, of course. And Herald of the Arclight is going to grab us our Necromirror. So, if they do have, of course, a monster on the field, which we are probably going to keep them having a monster on the field, then we are going to use Necromirror to special summon our Zilgigas. So here you can obviously attempt to draw a card, and if it is a Gishki, not only can you shuffle something, but you can obviously OTK. Here on the field we have, this is 2k, this is 3k, this is 8.2 in total, so 9.2 damage just by Ash Blossom and Ecclesia, which is great. And we also got a pop and a possible shuffle and a tribute with Necromirror. Keep that in mind. So it's, as you can see, the deck can board break on its own. It doesn't only need the board breakers, but they are just a plus. Yes, so that's it for this deck profile. I hope you enjoyed the deck. It is a very fun deck. I went to locals last week and went 4-2. It was a very competitive locals, but Castira matchup is a bit hard, but you can manage. I didn't draw any of my good board breakers, meaning Lightning Storm or something, but even then I always got past the Arise Heart with Necromirror. But yeah, it's pretty great. Hope you like it, and maybe see you next time. Bye.